all about inspiring, about impacting and influencing your team. It is about the vision and the responsibility, and not just about power. Hello and welcome to this very insightful episode of the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories. We bring to you conversations that are spontaneous, that will engage you, that will be fun, and at the same time give you a chance to learn. So, with me, Isha Bhalla, let's get this conversation started. The Economic Times Cutting Chai is a series brought to you by ET Edge, where we get to converse with CXOs, info entertain you, our viewers, and at the same time enjoy our cutting chai. So it's time that you too head and get your chai, because this is going to be a very interesting conversation. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Amit Dixit, Chief Technology Officer, Zolo, who leads the team in design, product development, technology strategy, and program management. With over 2 decades of experience in the product, software development, large-scale platform management, technology roadmap development, cloud migration, and cloud strategy, I'm sure we have a lot to learn from him. So let me waste no more time and extend a very warm welcome. Mr. Dixit, what a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you, Isha. Good morning to everybody.
Well, as we look forward to this absolute fun session, we'd love to know how your early days were, your early career, growing up times, your education, and what you feel has really been a learning curve for you that has stayed with you till date.
Yeah, so I was born in a big city in North India, in Uttar Pradesh, Kanpur, and I was born in a small village near Kanpur city. So that time, it was one of the most industrialized city of India in 1978. And my father, he is a teacher, and he teaches Sanskrit and Hindi. So he's retired. He retired as principal of a college. So my mother, she is homemaker, and we were three siblings. Like I was the youngest one, elder brother, and the eldest sister. And now my elder brother is no more. He passed away in 2016. But yeah, so now I'm the only son, and I've got elder sister. And my early education, it happened in Kanpur. There was a school in Kanpur. There is a school, and it was one of the most famous school in Hindi medium in whole of Uttar Pradesh. The name is Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay Intermediate College. So I started my learning, and I started my learning from that school. A lot of values were taught in school. The complete value system. Indian value system, right? The work ethics, hard work, everything was taught along with the studies. Everything was taught in school. We had a lot of so this school basically it was one of the best school in Uttar Pradesh. So a lot of people or all the students in the school, they were very bright, and a lot of people used to go to IITs, and a lot of students, like batch of 100, at least 15 to 20 people, they used to be in the merit list of Uttar Pradesh board. So there were a lot of people, and there were a lot of inspiring students in the school. Teachers also, used to encourage us. So there was no dearth of talent around me, and actually I was an average student. So teachers, they used to focus more on science, mathematics, more on hard work. So that way, I think it was very good schooling. A lot of examples were there in front of me. I just remember one example where there used to be a lot of people who used to be in merit list, but nobody ever got top one or two, three ranks. So in the hall of the school, teacher asked if any of you can get top three ranks. And after there was a silence, and after some time, a student got up and he said, yes, I can. And he got the second rank in merit list. So these kind of people were there, students were there in my school. I was a mediocre student, so I was like, you can say that in top 30-40%, but I was never a star performer in this, lot of 100 people. We used to have two sections, like 50-50 each, so it was not crowded schools like today's where, you got sections from A to Z, and the teachers used to be more focused. Used to spend a lot of time with the teachers, even apart from work also, apart from studies also.
Right.
We used to have a lot of gaming activities, kabaddi, kho cricket, cycling, slow cycling, drama activities.
Right.
So it was fun, right? And after that, of course, in 1996, I got selected into IIT.
Right.
Kanpur is also known for IIT coaching. We have got
Yes.
IIT Kanpur. So always you've got a lot of people around you whom you can look up to. There are a lot of bright students who have got admission in IIT Kanpur, and
Right.
IIT Kanpur, it is one of the best IITs.
It is.
It is. So yeah, I did IIT preparation, and typically that time we never had many options. So if you are good, you become engineer or doctor, or there were not many options, right? For and even engineering also, if you are studying in good college, then only there was a surety of getting good job.
Right.
Otherwise, it was a little hard, right? In 1996, when I cleared IT, so my rank was not all that great. It was all India rank 2000, and then I had to choose, where should I get admission? And then I got to know that in IIT BHU metallurgy department is very good, and it is
Right.
the best center of excellence in India. And that's how I thought, okay, if I'm going to get admission, let me get admission in something which is best. So this is
Right.
I, ended up in IIT BHU, and BHU is a very fascinating place.
Yes.
Um, it has got lots of things apart from studies also.
Right.
You very strong cultural background of BHU,
Right.
and Varanasi, it is the oldest city in the world, right?
Right.
So apart from studies, you learn a lot in BHU. You've got we were very lucky. We had very good professors. Many of those professors, they were some of them. They even taught in MIT as a visiting prof. Also, they did their higher studies from US, top US universities. So we were very lucky to get those kind of teachers. And after that. Finished my BTech in 2000, and from campus I got into Infosys, and
Right.
Infosys was a dream job that time. I spent almost 10 years in Infosys. After that, I joined a company called Globally Procure. It is
Right.
a sourcing and procurement technology company,
Right.
and I spent 1.5 years there. And after that, I spent 8 years in Target. Target is second largest retailer
That's right.
in US after Walmart, and that was like a defining moment in my career. I was there for 8 years. Initial few years, I was working on regular technologies. Then after 2-3 years, I moved into new tech world. Became a very
Right.
hands-on developer, and after spending 8 years, getting very good exposure, that's where I became a real technologist. And after that, I thought, let me do something different. I have worked a lot for non-Indian companies. I have
Right.
contributed and I learned a lot. And I thought, okay, let me do something which can contribute to Indian growth story.
Right.
I got opportunity in Tata Click, and I had worked in retail, but not directly in e-commerce. So I thought, let me pick up this opportunity. I was there in Tata Click for 1.5 years, did a lot of work, I'll talk about later about the kind of achievement which I had.
Right,
And after spending 1.5 year in Tata Click, I was managing complete platform. I was involved in their cloud migration.
right,
Then I got opportunity in Zolo, and I thought it is a once in a lifetime opportunity at this stage for me.
right.
And I decided to take up this opportunity, and I joined Zolo in August 2021. That's it.
Absolutely. So, really, in your words, from being mediocre to now being the star performer, having such a diverse and rich experience, and like you said, that a few examples in your early years led you to believe in yourself. You did share that anecdote with us. That one person getting up and saying, "Yes, I can do it," and finally achieving it. So that story sort of stayed with you and created that very, very strong foundation. You also mentioned how being an all-rounder, extracurricular activities really help in you growing as a person, a leader. So you've really achieved it all. And that's where I'd like to put up my next question to you. We do believe that a creative mind or a creative thinker has a lot to add to any organization. And today, there are often many pressures that an organization sets in on an individual. So, how do you think that you can make sure that your team has that creative thinking or that edge of mind? How do you encourage it in your team members?
Yeah, so of course, when you're in corporate world, there are different type of pressures. You've got always timeline pressures. You have to deliver things which are most critical to the business. So I personally try to keep a balance because there are some always I try to have manage or organize things in such a way that I keep 50-60% things which are tactical in nature, and in startups this percentage sometimes it is a little higher because things are not well planned, right? Since in companies which are very organized, there these kind of technical work percentage will be little lesser. So I always try to keep 50-60% work which is technical in nature, which I have to do it. It is a business priority for the company. Of course, all of us are trying to achieve some goal as a company, right? Then some work which is strategic, which is important for organization to remain relevant in future.
Right.
So this tactical work, it helps us in achieving very short-term business objectives, but the strategic work, for example, some innovation or non-linear work, which can give us a big edge in terms of innovation, in terms of IP. So a lot of time I try to plan in such a way that I do some work which is really which can help us in 1 year, some work which can help us in 3 to 5 years also. So this is how I try to divide, and my team also I give 10% of their time uh, in doing something which is not related to the day-to-day work. They can do any innovation. They can read something which we are not at all doing. For example, even they can even read about rockets. Only condition is that whatever you do, you have to present in the forum so that we ensure that they are learning something. So 10% time, which is like 4 hours a week and 8 hours in 2 weeks, they can do anything, whatever they like. If it is related to our strategic goals, which are like long term, like 2 years to 4 years kind of vision, then it is better I review whatever areas they are choosing. I sit and review with them. If it is aligned to our long term goals, then it is better. But even if it is not, I give them full freedom.
Well, that's a very, very interesting way to put it, and to really make sure that your team grows as an individual and at the same time also thinks of growing as an organization in the larger picture. So that's where I'd like to take a lead for my next question. Often it is said that as organizations grow, one happens to dampen their inspiration. So, how is it that you keep inspiring your team to do better, to achieve more, especially in these days when a lot of them are working from home or working from outside this office space, and you don't have that personal connect? So how do you inspire your team?
Um, so I try to do my best. So I don't know whether my team is taking inspiration from me, but I've got A lot of people in my office, a lot of colleagues, I take inspiration from them. For example, my CEO, because Sikri is there. He's one of the topmost doctor in India. He comes from AIMS. So I take inspiration from him. So what I do for my team, I try to lead by example, especially during COVID time. It was very hard for organization like us because we don't have a very organized setup, right? And teams are small, and we've got business teams are also sitting in Bangalore office, and a close collaboration is required. And in big, services companies or captives or companies who are MNCs, they have a standard way of doing work where work is, being given, or it is already defined, and people execute that work in a remote location or in a different location. But in our case, it was totally different, because business is also happening. You have to collaborate very closely. So majority of my team is working from office. Some people, because of some reason, they are not working from office. But I personally, I try to connect with everybody at least once in a week. I try to lead by examples. I knew that people are having a lot of issues. They had a lot of sufferings during COVID times. A lot of people and their families, they suffered a lot during this time. So I try to empathize with them, but I still try to connect with them in terms of work. Um, whatever I am expecting from them, I try to do it myself. If I want people in office,
Right.
I just try to explain them why is it important. And if there's definitely when there are any personal reasons, a very specific reason, we as a company, we empathize with everybody and we allow
Right.
everybody, right? During these, third wave also, everybody was working from home, so it is not that we has made anything mandatory, but we try to lead by example. We come as a leadership, we come to office every day. We encourage people, whatever, even if, I even talk to every member, the junior most engineer in my team. I try to talk to everybody. I see what exactly they are doing. If they are doing something good, we encourage them. Um, so we have different sessions where these tech guys, they can come and present. So if they're doing something great, I tell them that why don't you go and present, right? Many times I take, it can be anybody from the team, not just the senior member of my team. I take them to the leadership team, and they present in front of leadership team. So it is an encouragement for them. We have got, of course, recognition. If people are doing good, we recognize them by using different kind of awards like monthly star award, spot awards, and we could have very really great and very contextual citation so that they feel that they have achieved something.
Right.
And also, whenever I am talking to people, you have to give them very clear goals. What exactly
Right.
you want to achieve? If you are not doing that, then it is a recipe of disaster, right? So
Right.
eventually, people will not be able to achieve what they are supposed to achieve. And so you have to give them very clear goals, and you have to review with them on the day-to-day basis.
Right.
If you want to achieve something in short term, then you have to do it on day-to-day basis. Otherwise, you have to do it in weekly basis. So this is what I do, leading by example, encouraging them, communicating goals very clearly, offering recognition. And many times, the problem which we see is decision making. That's
Right.
where people are just waiting for something, some decision to be made. They have to talk to a lot of people. So what I do whenever I see that people are waiting, I just try to get all the stakeholders together and get that decision made in few hours.
So
So these are
fantastic,
the things I
really
do.
leading by example, as you mentioned, and setting those goals right. And at the same time, you mentioned how, post COVID days, the style of leadership has changed and how you've become a lot more empathetic, keeping in mind the needs and the requirements of your team. Really bringing together the whole team, like you mentioned, is so very important. And that is where I'd now like to ask you, it's often said that one really does get to know what their strengths are and what their shortcomings shortcomings are. How important do you feel it is for an individual to work on these strengths and shortcomings to become a more successful leader?
Um, I believe it is very important because and the why is it important? Because first of all, you have to be polite enough with everybody. Because if you're not polite, then people will not be ready to give you feedback. So everything starts from here. Uh, so even you should get feedback from, I get feedback from interns also who are in my team who are fresh out of college. So if you're not polite enough, then people will never give you feedback. If you try to resist or if you try to explain, many times you may feel that, okay, this kind of feedback is not right, but still you should be polite enough. You can get 100 feedback from people and, maybe 20, 30 you can work on, right? Where you feel that, yes, it is important. So, and you should also know your strength. The problem, if you don't know your strength, in that case, what happens is you're trying to work on some things which is not your strength, and you may not succeed a lot in that particular area, right? So knowing strength and weakness both are very important, because if you know your weakness, you can improve there. If you know your strength, then you can do very great if you work in the same area.
Absolutely. And in fact, like you mentioned, that you have to know what points you're really working on. So if I was to ask you, what is that one tip or that, secret to success that you have ever received from someone in your leadership journey? So what would that be?
So everybody tells me, all my previous bosses, they've told me that I am very good in networking. I try to make connect with people, and that's how many times it helps a lot in doing something very fast, because when you have to work with a lot of stakeholders, so I get a lot of good feedbacks in terms of stakeholder management. So I believe that it is my strength. That's the feedback I have received so far.
So really being a people's person, and that has worked in your favor. So if I was to ask you, what do you feel is that one trait that sort of derails a leader's career and takes him the other way? So what is that one trait that sort of breaks the game for them?
So I think one thing, so again, you're knowing your customers and knowing their needs, right? So as a tech person, as a head of technology team, my customers are business teams and marketing team, other teams, right? So knowing your customer and doing everything for the customer, that is the most important thing. And if somebody who is not doing this, then it is very hard. And it goes with the company also. If a company like organization like Zolo, all the people who are staying in our accommodations, co-living accommodations, uh, if we are not catering to customer needs, that's the worst thing which can happen. As a leader also, if you're not catering to your customers, and if you're not understanding and listening their needs, then you'll never be able to succeed.
Right, so really keeping your customers' needs at the top priority and making sure that they feel the best and most comfortable with you. You put it together also very well. And, our viewers have got to know you as a leader, but we'd also like to get to know the fun part of you, which is why I'm now going to dive into a rapid fire round. So are you all set?
I'm all set. This is the first time I'm taking rapid fire. I don't
I
know how good
promise
or
to make
bad
it
I will
fun
be.
and very, very easy for you. Okay, you have to choose either or, and I already know the answer to the first one, but I'm still going to take it. Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert.
Street smart or book smart?
Street smart.
A thinker or a doer?
Doer.
Believe in luck or hard work?
Hard work.
Okay, do you watch shows in one episode at a time or binge watch a whole season?
Whole season. I watch very few shows, but I'll watch full season if I like it.
Adventurous or not?
Adventurous.
Healthy eating, or is it going to be fried food on weekends?
90% healthy and 10% anything.
Okay, so indulging a little here and there. And my
Yeah.
final one to you is black tea or hot and absolutely wow masala cutting chai?
Masala cutting chai.
Well, so cheers to that. And on this note, I'd like to wish you all the very best as you carry on by transforming Zolo Sales journey and making it a leader in technology. Thank you so very much for joining us. And let me also bring in Mr. Aditya Agarwal, Head Large Enterprises, Lenovo, to join in the conversation. I have some very interesting questions that I'd like to ask both of you. So once again, Mr. Agarwal, welcome.
My pleasure.
So let me begin by asking my first question to you, Mr. Dixit. Okay, what do you feel are the main challenges that your organization faced in IT asset management lifecycle?
I'll just tell two, three challenges which I'm facing even right now. So just in time availability of assets with the required configuration. You've got different teams. They required hardware or devices of different configurations. People, for example, tech, they need machines with better configuration so that they can do their work without any issues. While there are some teams who are not who don't require that kind of advanced configuration. So just-in-time availability of advanced required configuration, repair and maintenance cost, especially when we are working with Mac. So that's a big concern. The timely update of security patches to all the servers and to all the workstations and endpoint security. These are the main challenges which I am facing right now. And we are
Right.
trying to
So in fact, I'd like to take this to Mr. Agarwal and ask him that, sir, what is it that you feel are the top IT challenges that you are foreseeing in the next couple of years?
So, these challenges that we talked about, right? They are very right, because we have been, having these, especially with COVID. I think the whole supply chain has got disrupted. For the predictability that used to be in supply chains earlier is not there now. Now, of course, we will have those, which is what we see in the industry anyway. The services, the cost of replacement. What I also see, and I want to zoom out right now, and I'm sure Amit is also saying that, is that how do we, and making this whole problem macro by saying that, look, people are facing problems even when they used to be in offices, and now people are working at homes, right? And I've talked about this earlier. It's not just homes, people are working from anywhere, right? So how do you really keep them productive while keeping your costs down and the uptime high? I think that's a major challenge. Of course, then challenges. The thing is that IT world is full of challenges to solve, right? That you have innovation, you have, we have new habits and practices that IT managers today are trying to inculcate in the user. So those stay. But if I just look at this space, I think it's about the human aspect of working from anywhere. How do you make that productive and seamless as much as possible? And that is where all of this will also come in, right? The availability, the services, the cost of doing that. How do you and another thing which we have seen IT heads also grapple with right now is that how do they put the cost of procurement down? And I don't mean the price of the asset, but how about converting from capex to opex, right? That could they outsource the whole thing? Could they outsource the life cycle management and work on what they do best, right? Which is not asset management, right? They are partners, especially in young organization. They are partners in growth for the company, so they want to focus on that and leave the rest to other people. So I think these are some challenges that people are looking to solve.
Absolutely. And to that, in fact, I'd like to go back to Mr. Dixit and ask him that what is the strategy that your organization has adopted when it comes to planning, to configuration, deploy, uptime, and asset disposal? What is it that you're doing to sort of handle all of these aspects?
We are still making these policies related to asset disposal. So right now, to be very honest, we have got a very basic asset management policy in place. We have got system to manage all our assets. There are various type of assets. For example, in our case, we have got mobile devices also. We have got, of course, workstation, laptops, Macs, iMacs, Ubuntu, on Windows. The various operating systems are also there, right? So we are in process of making it very formal. We have a system, I don't want to name that particular product here, but we have a system where we, even earlier, we used to do all this asset management a year back, we used to do offline. But now it is real time and we are managing it. And we don't have asset disposal policy as such in place right now. If majority of our assets, if they're unusable, right now, those are lying with us and we are trying to work on an asset disposal policy.
Right. So here I'd like to ask Mr. Agarwal that how is it that you can help organizations strategize in various stages, be it planning, be it configuration, deploying, asset management? How is it that you can make this journey for organizations a lot simpler?
So, of course, there are solutions in all of these that are possible. For example, asset recovery, e-waste disposal. So we really work with people, what are their needs and what are the need of the hour. And then it's a collaborative discussion that we have and we figure out, how to go forward.
Sure.
Thank you so very much for that.
I would like to get in touch with you and see how we can work together on this area. We are evaluating, we are working on a semi-automated way of ensuring policy compliance. We are evaluating some tools also we also already have a endpoint management tool, but we are also evaluating other tools as well.
Sure.
Of course, cost is a major criteria for us because for a startup like us, we are like 5-6 years old startup. So, and that too, after COVID, we were the most affected industry. So cost is a big concern right now, but we want to mature as an organization and we want to have all these processes in place.
Yes, I'm totally aware. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Amit Dixit. It's been a pleasure listening to you, sir, and how you've evolved as a person, as a leader. And I'm sure this session has been a great learning experience. And a big thank you to Mr. Aditya Agarwal for joining in, for sharing with us how we can really take business on an all new level. It's been a pleasure listening to both of you converse. And thank you so very much to all our viewers for tuning in.